everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to another Sims 4 apartment renovation, and welcome back to the second apartment in our Building a Legacy apartment series. Now, if you haven't checked out the first video in this series, I will leave a link to that on the screen. It was the 20,000 Simoleon starter apartment that I did. But basically in that, I kind of explained what this series is about, but I'll give you guys a quick little rundown of what it is about before we jump on into this apartment. Basically, I'm going to be building 6 different apartments, 4 of them in San Myshuno and 2 of them in Evergreen Harbor, and I've given myself a different budget for each apartment. Now, the whole idea about building a legacy is that I started this off with building something for one sim. So I built an apartment for Katara Bryant, which was our starter sim that I built the starter apartment for. Now she's actually gotten engaged to Lucas St. Clair, and I will put a little picture of them up on the screen so that you guys can know who I'm talking about. But she and Lucas have gotten engaged recently and they've decided to move in together. So they've actually moved like right across the hall from where her old apartment was. This is the, I think, 1310 Chic Street apartment. And yeah, it's the like really rectangular one in the fashion district. And yeah, they've moved right across the hall to a brand new apartment. And I've given them a 30,000 Simoleon budget that I used to furnish this new apartment. Now, this apartment, like I said, is supposed to be for a couple of Sims. So just the 2 of them. And the other apartments in the series will be for their family as well, but as their family grows. I won't tell you any more than that about this, like about their family, because I have already done another apartment and I'm working on the 4th one already because I'm having so much fun with this series and building apartments and kind of doing it in a way where I have a little bit of a story in my head for the Sims and kind of trying to build on, you know, what I thought their story would be and kind of building a legacy with these Sims. But I wanted to keep these apartments as kind of generic as I could, so I didn't go too in depth with what I thought, you know, their skills would be or what I thought their careers would be. I know in the first apartment build I said that I thought Katara would do something maybe in like programming or something like that, so maybe she works from home from her laptop or something like that. And Lucas, I honestly don't know what I thought he would do as a career. Maybe he's, I don't know, I honestly don't know. I didn't think too much into it because I wanted to keep the apartments as, like I said, as generic as I could, so that you could easily go in and play in these apartments with whatever Sims you're playing with. But if you do want to play with these particular Sims for whatever reason, I will put them up on the gallery as well. I'll put all 6 versions of their family up on the gallery, you know, as I do the apartments. I'll also upload the Sims in case you want to play with them for whatever reason and in case you want to come up with a storyline in your head for them. But yeah, like I said, this is the second apartment in that series and it's a 30,000 Simoleon budget. And yeah, I gave myself different budgets for each of them. I'm not going to tell you guys what the other budgets are or what my ideas for all of the other apartments are because you will see them as they come up in the series. But yeah, so 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. It's not even technically a 1 bedroom apartment because it's kind of more like a studio apartment because the bedroom isn't actually sectioned off with like doors. But then we just have the separate bathroom obviously off of the bedroom and just a nice more modern living space. So the first apartment was definitely a little bit more run down, a little bit more dated, whereas this one you can clearly see that whoever owns the apartment and rents it out has gone through the trouble of actually renovating it and updating it to make sure that it's nice and modern. I mean, I guess this is the kind of apartment that I would picture a like young couple kind of living in a city. You know, maybe they've just moved in. It's kind of one of those more newer renovated places, but still kind of on the cheaper side because it is rather small. So yeah, that's kind of what I was kind of going for with this apartment. I wanted to make it look like a lot of their furniture came from IKEA. So I'm still using the cheapest counter sets that are actually base game that they recently did all of those recolors for. And I really love these counters. I love them so much. I used them in the starter apartment as well. But yeah, I used them again in this one, just in a different swatch. And then I wanted to make all of their furniture kind of look like IKEA furniture, like I said. So the desk, the bookcases, the couches, the dining tables, everything kind of looks like it came from IKEA. It's kind of this more, I guess, not really technically Scandinavian look, but kind of it's modern and nice looking while still looking cheap, if that makes sense. It's not supposed to look like it cost them thousands of dollars for like a single table, for example. But yeah, apologies if my voice is kind of going. I'm doing these two voiceovers back to back. And yeah, I don't know, I'm not used to talking so much. So yeah, I'm also recording this at like 6 p.m. in the evening, which is really early for me to be recording, and apparently my brain doesn't really want to work well this early in the evening. I haven't really been speaking English a lot, like at all, the past few days. I haven't spoken English since the last video that I uploaded. And yeah, it's kind of taken me a little moment to like just come up with words, because my first language obviously isn't English. So yeah, kind of switching between the two is apparently a little bit hard today. So apologies if I'm sounding a little bit, I don't know, slower than usual, if that makes sense, or if I'm stumbling over my words a little bit more than I usually do in voiceovers. But yeah, anyway, moving back to this apartment, you will see eventually, once we get to more decorating, that the picture that I'm actually going to be putting above the bed is the same picture that I used in the living room of the starter apartment. Now, that's something that I'm going to be trying to do with each of these apartments. I'm going to try and bring a few things over from the previous one. So that picture that I'm going to be using above the bed, that will also be making an appearance in the next apartment, along with a couple of other things that I'll point out once we eventually get to furnishing that one, and once I get to that video. But yeah, I'll point that out once we get to, the relevant apartment. But I kind of wanted to do that and make it look like, it is the same family that has lived in all of these apartments. So they have, maybe a lamp that they've brought over from the previous apartment, or a painting, or a couple of paintings, and I'm just using them in different rooms and kind of changing it up a little bit so that I'm not recreating the same living room, for example, in every single build. So I'm not going to be bringing over big items like couches, or I might use some of the beds more than once just because they're my favorite beds or stuff like that. But I'm going to try and just bring over a couple of decorative things like lamps or paintings, or maybe plants as well. I'm definitely going to reuse the same plants more than once, just because I always like plants and I can never have enough in my builds. But yeah, decorative things like paintings, maybe one or two, end tables or stuff like that, and then like, the lamps and just small decorative clutter pieces. I will kind of be trying to bring them over to each apartment and just use them a little bit differently to make it not look like I'm rebuilding the same apartment just in a different layout. But you can still see those small things that you can see, oh, this was in that apartment, or stuff like that. And then also I'm going to try and include laundry in each of these apartments. So I actually did manage that in the first starter one. I'll also be putting in a stacked laundry and like washer and dryer actually in the entryway of this apartment. So just ignore everything that I'm doing right now in the entryway, because none of that stays. I mean, the rug stays, the plant stays, but it moves over a little bit. But yeah, the entryway actually has the laundry in this apartment, and I'm going to try and put laundry in each of the apartments just for a little bit of realism and a little bit of fun gameplay. I always like playing with laundry whenever I play the game. It just adds that nice bit of realism to my gameplay. So yeah, if you don't really want to use laundry in your gameplay, if you do end up downloading this apartment and you don't like playing with laundry, just delete the laundry machine and put another plant in the corner, or maybe like an armchair or something, and that should be totally fine. Just remember to delete the hamper that I placed in the bathroom as well. Otherwise, your Sims will still like generate laundry and you'll have nowhere to wash it. But yeah, so if you do want to download the apartment is already up on the gallery along with the starter one that I did. I will have the gallery like download link in the description, as well as my gallery ID and the hashtags and all of that stuff that you can use to search for this apartment, and all of my other stuff that I ever upload. But yeah, it is completely custom content free as well. I should probably mention that. All of these apartments for this series will be completely CC free. I'm not going to be pack restricting any of them though, so I am using a bunch of different packs in all of these builds. So if you don't have something, then just replace it with something that you do have. Especially if it's just like a small decorative thing, then it should be easily replaced with something else. But yeah, here we've actually replaced the laundry. We've actually placed the laundry machine. I can't speak, so I should probably just wrap this up. But yeah, we've placed the laundry machine and we're just adding a little like more storage space in the entryway, and yeah, just a couple of clutter pieces. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give the video a like. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see more Sims content, then feel free to hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But yeah, I hope you guys are all having an absolutely amazing day and that you're looking forward to the rest of this series. And I will talk to you in my very next video. Bye everyone.
Oh baby, I love your madness. It's so incredibly beautiful. Oh, you shine like gold, so selfless to all, and wild like an animal. Some would say I'm insane in the right in a way, but I just love to play in your fun and your games. Always hungry for more, that's just how I was born. Take me somewhere I don't know and give me your freedom. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium, life is so easy. Whoa, you love me to pieces, yeah, I need it. Want your pandemonium.